Daisy, 50 games, what does that mean to you, the milestone?
I'm normally one to just kind of brush it off and move on, but yeah, reflecting on it this week, 50 doesn't sound like many, particularly when we've just had Joel Selwood hit 40 finals and, in AFL speak, we're talking 350s and 400s, but for AFLW, I was reflecting this week, I couldn't play a single game until I was nearly 29, it just wasn't possible. So it was nearly 30 when the competition started, and then we were going 6 or 7 games at a time to begin with, so they're hard to come by, AFLW games, and then to throw in twins and a pregnancy and all of that in between, it might not sound like many on paper, but it feels like a lot, a lot of games.
Did you think you'd get there, after pregnancy?
To be honest, until this week, I hadn't actually thought about it. I'm always just so focused on the now rather than where you might get or how many. So maybe not. I think initially it was just the determination to get back and play one more season, and it's kind of just been one more since then. And I just still enjoy it so much and love it. But maybe I didn't though. To be honest, when I think about that question a bit more, I remember when the competition first started, as I said, I turned 29 the year that AFLW started, and was so aware of the young talent coming through. So for so long, I kind of was like, this competition's going to swallow me up eventually. So maybe, I was talking about it with Paxi this week, it's surprised us how long we've been able to stay in the comp and keep going, because the young talent that does come in is just so exciting and so much better prepared. But we've also got the beauty of improving as athletes ourselves, because we just had never had the exposure to the resources we have in an AFLW club. So whilst we're older, we get to improve also.
Celebrating milestone matches, the D's done it a fair bit recently. You've got the plan worked out, I guess, this week.
Yeah, it's been really special celebrating everyone else's. So it was funny this week to suddenly be like, tension's on me. It's a bit odd, but special. Last week with Kate Hoare, we've had Loz Pearce, Lily, Taylor, Libby, Paxi. I think I got them all, but yeah, it's just so special. Hearing what all of those people mean to our team, I don't know, it's always a bit weird when you're at the centre of it, but it's a really special week. I'll try and soak it up.
How many of you played overall, do you think?
I don't know, I think I would have played about 150 at Darebin. So, and similar, they weren't long seasons there for a fair period of time. So I played my first senior footy at the highest level at that time. It was the VWFL Premier Division that soon became the VFLW. But I was 16 years old when I first started playing there back in 2005. So I've been kicking around for a while now.
Would you have played on this season if it hadn't have been before Christmas? They brought the...
I don't know. I didn't really go into those hypotheticals. It wasn't so much about the time frame or anything like that. It was just, do I have another season in me to go back to the well and, dig deep for another pre-season, and just the investment and emotional energy it takes for not just me, but our whole family, and the commitment and sacrifice it takes. It was more just that decision rather than the timing of things. So who knows, if it had been different, it might have been a different variable, but no, I didn't get that far in considering it.
The team's going all right at the moment.
How
do you feel you're placed?
It's been a funny one, early in the year winning, but a little bit dissatisfied with how we were playing. But I felt like it sort of all came together on the weekend. Not so much in the scoreboard. I keep saying that we sort of needed that win, and not for the sense of that we got a reward on the scoreboard, but just the feeling in the group when we walked off, the belief and morale in the group was right there. So I think we'd been searching for that for a little while, and just working out what the formula is in terms of game style, because we've made a few little tweaks in that. Just trying to settle on something so that we can then stick to it for the rest of the year in terms of what we're focusing our energy on. And I feel like we got that right on the weekend, and now the challenge is to get it going again up in the Gold Coast this weekend.
Is that where the main improvement has come from in the game style, or are there other areas you feel the team's improved?
Game style's been a big one. We did a lot of work on our offence in the off-season. We've always been a pretty good contest team throughout the history of the competition. And then just reflections from our game against Adelaide last year was just our ability to work together as a whole unit and make teams pay when we win the ball back. So cashing in when we do win it, because we've always been able to win it a fair bit. So yeah, that's been a big focus. But week on week it shifts a little bit in terms of what we're focusing on. But I guess if I had to put it down to one thing in the off season, it was that. But then just building on our connection as a team as well. We've had a few new players come and go. So yeah, always working on that.
Gold Coast, Essendon, West Coast, do you start favourites, I guess, in all of those games? Do you think it's a good run into the finals?
Oh, you just take whatever fixture you get. It's completely out of our control. And, you know, with the AFLW competition, I think that's the thing we've seen in the first seven weeks. You just have to turn up and play week to week. Like what one team kind of performed last week is irrelevant for the week after. There's quite big fluctuations in form and that kind of thing, because I suppose with players coming in and out and a short competition, so we just prepare as best we can to play our best footy, and whoever the opposition is semi-irrelevant. So yeah, we'll just take whatever lead up we get.
Mick got a contract extension recently. You happy to see that?
Oh yeah, we're just so lucky to have Mick, and he means so much to our group. Like so 2 more years of a coach of his calibre is just so exciting for the girls, for what it means to get out of their footy, but he's also just so good at building relationships. So he's become a really close friend and mentor for so many of our girls. And, you know, I was thinking, like even through the recent expansion, I dare say if we didn't have Mick, we probably would have lost a few more, just because of the quality of coach he is, his track record for getting the most out of people. So yeah, just that stability of having him, and now a 2-year extension, it kind of, he is the common denominator that's kind of kept our group together the most, I think.
Chasing the Premiership this year, do you need that for your career? How do you sort of feel about that being
I'd love one. So yeah, if you have anything to do with who gets them, just no.
That's up to you.
Yeah, no, I'd love one, but to be honest, no. Like that was the other question I kept getting in terms of going again this year was, oh, would you have gone again if you'd won? Because we played off last year against Adelaide, but I don't think that it sort of didn't come into my thinking. Like it's more just this ongoing hunger and desire to want to be involved, and my passion and love for getting down to training 3 nights a week and being around this group. So it's less about, you know, ticking that box and having a premiership as it is about just love for the game. So if I extrapolate that out to the scenario where I do hang up the boots and I haven't got one, I think I'll walk away still really fulfilled and feeling like the game has given me so much and I've loved my experience. So yeah, I don't think so.
Last one, Pride Round this week, obviously means a lot to a lot of people involved in AFLW.
Yeah, it's just so special. I mean, as I said before, I'm someone who was lucky enough to walk into a women's footy club when I was 16, and inclusion and diversity was already a big part of women's footy. Right back then, it was a safe place for the gay and lesbian community and gender diverse people. So even though Pride Round is something new in the AFL space, it's something that we've been lucky enough to be exposed to for a long time. And for me, since I was a teenager, and I'm just so grateful of that because it's shaped who I am as a person, and it's allowed me to kind of be proud of my authentic self as that's changed over the years. So yeah, it's just so important. And I think there's a real I don't know, ramming that home moment last year. Now that I've got kids, I was had my kids out on the ground after our Pride match. I think we played St Kilda, and Roy looked up at me and he said, why is your Melbourne jumper extra colourful? He said, because he just noticed it was different to the one that I normally wear. And I explained to him that it was like, it's Pride Round and it means you can be whoever you want to be and love whoever you want to love. And it was just in that moment that I know that the visibility of the jumpers and, you know, the PR that goes around Pride Round in the AFL is important for visibility and starting those conversations. But when it starts a conversation with your own 2-year-old, it was like, oh, wow, this is so important. And I hope that that was just one of a million conversations happening that weekend. And I hope it's, you know, one of another many million this weekend. And the more we can talk about it and create that safe space for everyone, it's just so important.
Just one from me. over the course of your career, obviously started when you were 16 and it's come all this way. What do you think is your crowning achievement, if you can put it to one thing, if there is one?
Oh, I don't know if it's a crowning achievement, but the thing that I'm most proud of is probably like when you have conversations, whether it's people like Sabrina Duffy or Taylor Harris, people that have come from other environments or even other sporting environments, and they come to Melbourne and they say, I love being a part of this team. Like, I'm not taking all the credit for shaping the environment that we've got at the D's, but I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion for the culture and I guess the environment we've got there. So they're probably my proudest moments, when I hear either directly or indirectly feedback around that type of thing. That's probably when I feel the most proud and that I've achieved kind of what I want to achieve.